Hello, welcome to the Adult Swim Festival Tuca and Bertie panel. My name is Jen Chaney and I'm a TV critic for Vulture. And we're going to be talking about the upcoming second season for Tuca and Bertie tonight, how things are going with production, and we may even have a little bit of a surprise sneak preview later on in the panel. We're also going to be taking some fan questions, so start getting your brains working and thinking of questions to ask. So let's start by welcoming our guests. First of all, the creator of Tuca and Bertie, Lisa Hanawalt. Hello, Lisa.
Hello.
Yay, Hi. Lisa. And also, we're joined by Ali Wong, who is the voice of Bertie and was also just rocking out to the intro music. Hey, Ali.
Hello.
And we're also going to be joined via video clip by some other very special guests who I think have their own intro, if we can roll that video.
Hi, guys. It's your girl, Tiffany Haddish, the voice of Tuca from Tuca and Bertie.
Hey, I'm Steven Yun, and I voice Speckle on Tuca and Bertie. I'm sorry I can't be there. I'm in my closet right now, where I record the show, staring into fabric.
I am very excited for you guys to hear what we've been up to and excited to share with you what's new for season 2. Hey.
I'm really excited for you guys to see season 2 from the genius mind of Lisa Hanawalt. Thank you very much. Enjoy.
All right. Before we start talking about season 2, I did want to take a moment just to talk a little bit about season 1. And a question for both of you, actually. When you think about the first season, is there a moment or an episode that encapsulates what the show is about for you? Like if someone said, what is Tuca and Bertie? You would say, go watch this episode or go watch this scene. Lisa, what would you say to that?
I really like episode 5. Tuca goes to visit her aunt and she's kind of dealing with some traumatic family dynamics there. She's trying to pretend everything's okay, but it's really not. She's dealing with her sobriety. And Bertie starts working for Pastry Pete and he's crossing some boundaries and she's trying to learn how to empower herself and stand up for herself. But in that scenario, she kind of doesn't know how. And then maybe she kind of likes it a little bit and feels conflicted about that. And I just think it's a really complicated episode and kind of explores it tells the story of what both characters are kind of going through in a serious way. But It's also fun.
Yeah. What about you, Ali?
Lisa, what episode is Nest of Netherfield? Is that 3 or 4?
That's 3. Yeah, the sexy British episode.
Yes. So I always point people to episode 3. I think that's my personal favorite because I'm a big Downton Abbey fan. So
same.
That Nest of Netherfield one is, it's just so funny to get into Bertie's complex relationship to her desire and not being able to articulate it to Speckle. And I think it's a great relationship episode. But then, Tuca's going on that date with that sandwich guy. I love that joke when he touches her and she feels electricity and she goes, ah! And then her skin separates from her bones. Because that really, that's what's so great about animation. That I felt that's one of those jokes where I actually feel very seen. Because when you have chemistry with someone and you don't know what's going to happen, it's been a very long time since something like that has occurred to me, by the way. I like it so much as a married woman, but that's what it feels like. That's what that electricity feels like, and there's a lot of times in Tuca and Bertie where this kind of absurd version of a truth feels closer to my truth than something more literal. So I always point people to that episode. I find it very sweet too.
Important for me to show how horny and disgusting women are. And so the fact that when we get horny, we feel like our bones are going to jump out of our body. I think that's really important for me to show.
Yes, why that spoke to me as well.
Oh, one more thing. The last thing I love about that episode is when they're sitting on the fire escape and Tuca, this is the one, right? Where Tuca lifts up her shirt and she's like, woo! And you see her Tuca bird boobs. And then Bertie is about to lift her shirt and then she goes, nah. And that was quite enough for her to just almost show her titties, and she gets like a little thrill out of that. And it's a very like sweet friendship moment between Tuca and Bertie too. So
Yeah. So I think we have another clip from our friend Tiffany, who wants to talk about her favorite character moment from the first season.
I would have to say my favorite moments for my character so far, Tuca, is her dealing with her emotional issues. This season, she's really dealing with some mental stuff that I think we all go through, and we all try to figure out, like, how do I deal with this? Or how do I get rid of this emotion? And the way she goes about it, the way Tuca goes about it, is very different than the way that I go about it, that's for sure. But it's entertaining, it's funny, and I'm sure other people do it too.
So a question for each of you. I'm sure you're familiar with, like, when people are talking about Sex in the City, they'll always ask, are you a Carrie, are you a Charlotte, are you a Samantha? Well, are you a Tuca or are you a Bertie?
Oh, I'm both. I
okay.
know I present very strongly as a Bertie, but my partner, Adam, knows that I am in fact a Tuca based on how I behave. When I'm comfortable, I'm very selfish and confident and say whatever is on my mind, and I sing a lot and dance a lot. So I think I'm an inner Tuca.
Okay. Allie, what about you?
I relate to that. I think before I think growing up I presented more like a Tuca, but I think inside I was always more of a Bertie. Yeah. And Bertie has moments where she's like singing and dancing a little bit too. It's always to herself. I mean, I dance. I'm definitely a lot more wild at home when it's just me and my husband and me in a mirror, which is very Bertie. But yeah, there's times where I'm like I'm a little bit like Tuca too. Yeah.
And I think Tiffany, again, via video clip, has something to say on this subject in terms of how much she is like or not like Tuca.
What makes me most like my character, Tuca? Tuca's loud, I'm loud. Tuca is a jack of many things, an expert in none. That's me too. Well, maybe I'm an expert in one thing. Nope. I'm an expert in nothing, but I can do a lot. And Tuca's a freak, and so am I. But Tuca's into some things that I'm not into. Yeah. I haven't gotten to that portion in my life yet. Haven't expanded my horizons to the realms that she has. But I like pretending.
What could she be talking about? I guess we'll see.
Yeah, it's a good question.
A teaser.
One thing I've been thinking about, since we're all still dealing with the pandemic, is how these characters would respond to this if they were being forced to quarantine. Lisa, is that something you've given any thought to? Do you have any insights into that?
Not really. I did think about, like, what would it be like for Bertie and Speckle if they were like shut inside their apartment for a week together and they couldn't get out. But that's as far as I've gone, because I don't know, trying to like fictionalize the pandemic, it feels like I'm too close to it right now, and I don't want to like do like a current event. So yeah, no, I haven't like fully thought about it yet.
I mean, I don't think Tuca would wear a mask.
It wouldn't fit.
Yeah, it'd be hard to find a good one for her.
It wouldn't fit. She would definitely be like, if I get it, I get it.
Oh, you're right. Right.
I think she would have that attitude. I could see Tuca saying that. I think Bertie would just shut in, get all the supplies.
She'd be so neurotic about it.
Her closet would be full of toilet paper.
Yeah. It already is. It already is.
It already is. And she'd be trying to like learn French and all that other stuff, and like she'd like tease herself with the news, be like, I'm off Twitter, like, I'm on, like, but I have to look at Twitter, I have to be informed, but I have to stay off Twitter. But yeah,
shit, maybe I am a Bertie.
I was gonna say, that sounds a lot like me too.
I think she'd have a very complicated relationship with her phone.
Yeah.
So I think we have another clip from Tiffany answering a very similar question as to how Tuca would respond. Let's see if her answer matches yours.
Now, if Tuca lived through COVID-19, I'm going to tell you right now, she would probably be watching a lot of TV, probably be on the Bumble trying to get some sex. She'd probably be trying to have COVID sex. Yep. Wearing face mask and whatnot. Tuca probably would actually sell face masks. She would probably make them and sell them. That's what Tuca would be doing. And going out of her damn mind. Yep. She'd be going out of her good golly o'malley mind.
So on a somewhat more serious note, you guys have had to go back into production, in the midst of all this going on. Can you talk a little bit about that and how this is working in pandemic times to be making the show versus how it works normally?
It works surprisingly well. The great thing about animation is we can kind of do everything from home. And I don't really mind it because I'm kind of a homebody, so I like working from home. We've been recording a lot of actors in their closets, as you saw. Yeah. Steven was in there. Allie, you've been in like a stairwell and find sort of makeshift recording studios.
Makeshift recording studios. Yeah, I mean, the thing about the pandemic is that people are, it's going from place to place. Like Tiffany's always in a different city. I have been going from here to San Francisco, so I had to set up a situation there in a stairwell. And it was, there's like some adjustments here and there with like sound blankets and stuff. It's a lot of physical labor and a lot of learning about cables and ports for someone like me who is not that like technically savvy. But yeah, it's been really wonderful overall.
It's been nice to have this to do during the pandemic. I mean, it feels like a hole I can sort of ostrich my head into, kind of disappearing into Bird Town for hours a day is definitely a gift.
Right. And I assume the writing process, did you do that all via Zoom or?
Yeah.
Okay.
We had a Zoom room. It was me, 3 other writers and a writer's assistant. So a pretty small room. And we just did it over Zoom. I think with Zoom is like so exhausting. Like you never want to be in a Zoom meeting for more than like a couple hours at most. So I kept the room very short, very organized, just so we could get in there, do what we have to do, then get out and like do our creative work off of Zoom. But I think it worked really well.
Okay, well, we have another video from Tiffany talking about what she's been doing in terms of her hobbies during quarantine.
I have definitely picked up some new skills during quarantine. I was able to do the splits for a while, then I kind of stopped. And now I'm back on getting my splits back. It's funny how fast things go away. It used to be when I was younger, like I could do something and then I could do it for a long time. But now that I'm a little older, I can do something and then I better keep practicing it or it's gone. It's gone. So that's something I can do now. I can do the splits. That's the skill. Oh, and I lost 40 pounds. Some people are gaining weight. I'm losing it. Yep, I can exercise.
That's impressive. I can't do the splits yet. I've tried.
Yeah, me either.
I've tried so many times. Are you a Drag Race fan? RuPaul's Drag Race? No.
No, I don't watch it.
It'll make you want to do the splits real bad.
Not
it's
even
like the perfect punchline to every like dance, Anyway, yeah, that's amazing that Tiffany does the splits.
It is amazing.
So, can you talk a little bit more about season 2 and kind of what we can expect? I know you don't want to spoil anything, but I think last we left, Tuca was talking about moving in with her aunt, and Bertie her business was kind of taking off. So where are things in season 2?
Oh gosh, how can I talk about this without spoiling anything? I think Tuca will be dating potentially pursuing a new relationship. Bertie's business may or may not be flourishing.
That doesn't sound promising.
Yeah. Bertie's going through some stuff. She's advancing her sort of emotional, development and kind of looking back at things that have happened in her life and how to deal with them and how to handle her anxiety. Speckle's going on some crazy capers. Yeah, that's about all I want to say.
Fun guest stars.
There are some good guest stars.
Oh yeah, can you say any of them?
Names, Lisa?
Not that I know of. I don't know if I can.
Oh. All right.
They're good. They're really good.
We'll take your word that they're good.
I promise they're great.
Well, we look forward to finding out who they are. That's a good tease. A good tease.
Yes. Consider yourselves teased.
We're going to have another tease in just a second, but first, we do have a video from Steven Yeun talking about what to expect from Speckle in the next season.
I think what people can expect from Speckle in season 2 is quite a bit, but also more of the same. I would say a lot of heart, a lot of sincerity. I think, empathy from him. I would say they can also expect naivete. Naivete. Just sweet guy. Sweet Speckle. And also hot dogs.
I don't know what that last part meant, but I'm excited about it. So I understand there is a clip that we're going to look at. Can you, Lisa, set this up? What is it we're going to be taking a look at here?
Yes, in this clip, Tuca and Bertie are on a bachelorette trip in Plant Town. It's called Planteau. And I think that's all I need to say about it.
Ooh, I'm so excited. I haven't seen any of it.
All right, let's take a look.
Wow, he's so talented. Do you think he gets benefits? Do strippers even have unions?
Here, this'll benefit him.
Yeah, Tuca! Oh, make it rain on that tomato! Get rocked! You don't have to if you don't want to, okay? It's up to you! You have agency!
Get that tomato, girl.
Congrats on your engagement.
Woo! Yeah, take another bite. Keep eating him. Eat his whole body and digest him and then poop him out! Ooh! Sorry.
I liked it.
Ooh, I ordered dirty palomas for everyone.
Thanks, but Tuca and I aren't drinking.
Could I get a tomato juice, though? I'm suddenly craving it like crazy.
And just to clarify, that was an animatic for people who are wondering and haven't seen that version of an animated scene.
Yeah, so that's what we send to the animation studio in South Korea, along with all of our, design assets and everything. And so then they animate it, and then they send it back full color animation and everything. And then we do, retakes and lip sync and all that stuff. So yeah, this is like one step of the process.
All right. Well, I want to make sure we get to some fan questions. So let's take a look. Are you guys ready for these?
Ooh, boy, am I ready.
All right. Memo Grajeda asks, how did you settle on the overall tone and comedic elements of the show beforehand to maintain that balance of humor and real life struggles?
I think that's just the tone of my work. I've just made work for a long time. I've been a comic artist, a cartoonist, you might say, for decades. And I've been writing and drawing forever. And I think that's just a balance that I've always kind of had in my work, where it's sort of based on real life and real emotions. And those are kind of grounding it. But then it has a lot of surreal elements. And like, if you look at my comic books, there's birds and snakes and boobs everywhere. And it's a mess. So yeah, this is really a continuation of that. And then the writers, and working with Raphael also have just sort of supported that and helped me make it even stronger.
Allie, do you want to add anything from an acting standpoint?
I don't know. I think it's really Lisa's. I can't really take credit for a lot of setting that tone because it was all Lisa's vision, you know? I mean, I had no idea. I was so surprised when I first saw the show because I didn't know a lot of what the visual jokes were going to be. I mean, and she gives, she had a very specific idea of what Tuca and Bertie were when we came in, and I think they read a lot of people for each part. Am I correct? And
Yeah.
yeah, and so so yeah, I think she always had a very specific vision, and me and Tiffany just happened to fit, and Steve Yoon. So
I must say also like the animators and our supervising director, who is Mike Hollingsworth the first season and is now Aaron Long, super talented, hilarious, and all the directors, like they add in so many of the visual gags. The designers too, the art director Alison Dubois, like I get credit for all of that stuff too, which is not fair. It's just because I do, but yeah, a lot of the jokes and things and little extra things that are sort of surprises in every episode come from the team.
All right, great. So we've got another question here. Sophie GM wants to know, Lisa, first off, I love your work, and I just read a research paper about you for my design class. And I wanted to ask, what has been some of your biggest inspirations for the show?
My biggest inspirations, I don't know. I read and watch a lot of things, and I feel like a sponge, and I have experiences and things happen in the world, and I kind of just digest it all and then spit it back out. I mean, I don't even know, what are some of my favorite shows right now? I love Fleabag and Succession. I grew up watching The Simpsons and Ren and Stimpy and things like that. I don't know. It's so many things. Right now I'm just watching a bunch of terrible movies from the 90s. I don't know. It's very hard for me to figure out what my exact inspiration points are,
Right. All right.
I'm sorry.
No, that was a good answer. So we have Dana Delaney asks, what was the hardest time you laughed watching the show?
It's when Jermaine Fowler plays a seagull who works in the pet shop in episode 6 from the first season. And can I swear in this panel? I think I can.
I don't know, but I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to swear. Consider yourselves warned. And Tuca goes, I'm looking for, a long-term pet, one I can live with for a long time. I'm summarizing the line badly, but then he goes, oh, fuck yeah. And it just really makes me laugh every time. And I've seen it maybe 800 times and it still makes me laugh. There are definitely a bunch of moments like that, but that's the first one that comes to mind.
What about you, Allie?
I laugh at that reveal again in the Nest of Netherfield when you find out that the person who's been narrating the whole time is that pervert lady watching with the binoculars. And she's just looking at these birds and narrating. I think that's so funny. So, but I
love watching.
Yeah. So I love even that moment that we just saw where Bertie's she's going all out and she's overcompensating and course correcting and she's like, poop him out. And then everyone's silent and Tuca's like, I liked it. Supportive. I laugh a lot of moments like that too.
I love moments like that where the characters support each other. They could be snarky towards each other. Tuca could be like, wow, you're weird, but I feel like that's the easier thing to do. And it's more interesting for them to just be like, no, you're doing great. Even when they're clearly not.
So here's a really interesting question. Someone's asking, has any of the cast or crew actually developed recipes for the baked goods on the show?
The cast and crew, Molly Yar, who edited the first season, she baked some crunts and they were fantastic. Shout out to Molly, if you're watching, Molly, if we missed you. She's an amazing baker. She also dressed up as Bertie for Halloween, just the best. We had Ben Mims from the LA Times food section. He developed some recipes based on some of the stuff from season 1. And so those recipes were in the LA Times and He like brought them to the office that day. It was like the best day of my life, basically. I would love to do like a Tuca and Bertie cookbook someday.
Yeah, absolutely. So another question.
Pillsbury crescent rolls with my kids.
That counts.
All right.
Yeah. In quarantine.
I made a really terrible brownies last night. Really bad. They were like ketogenic or something. I don't know. Terrible. Ugh.
So I think we have time for at least one more question here. And this is sort of a big question, but it is for both of you. What advice do you have for any young artists or actors?
For artists, I'll say just make a lot of stuff. Because a lot of it's I say this all the time, but a lot of it's going to be really bad, and that's fine. You cannot avoid making bad work. So a lot of artists, I see them get paralyzed because they're so afraid of making something bad, but there's no way to avoid it. So you just have to jump in there and just make it, and then worry about whether it's good or bad later. You have to edit it later, and that's how you make something good. Nothing's good at the beginning. Like when I first see, anything for the show, the first script is always like, the first animatic's not quite right, and it just, you make it good through working on it over and over again and editing and showing it to your friends and seeing what they think. And like, that's just part of the process, is making some real stinkers. So just go for it.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. I mean, I would agree with all of that and add that, a PA once asked me, I asked her what she wanted to do ultimately, and she said to me, I want to write and I want to direct and I want to act. And I said, well, who's keeping you from doing all of those things right now? And she was like, I guess nobody,
Wow.
Yeah. And what's great about like phones and everything right now is that you can do what, no one's keeping you from writing. There's no one not allowing you to do that or making anything. You can make so much stuff. So make it. And, if you're worried about making, like being successful versus making something, then you should probably think about why you want to make something in the first place, But if you really are passionate about making stuff, then go for it and make it. Yeah.
That's great advice.
I do not know how actors like get better at their craft. Like I feel like acting, like good actors make it seem easy, but it's like one of the hardest things. And I truly don't know how you do it. Respect. Whenever I try to do like voiceover for my own show, I'm just like, ugh, why did I do that? I hate it. Oh no.
In the 30 seconds we have left, Allie, please explain how to act.
Oh. I mean, with this character, like I really related to the character from the beginning, and I think it was just for me, it just always has to be like a really natural fit. And Bertie was always, I don't think it's really hard to see that like Tuca was, a really good fit for Tiffany either. So I think they just really did a great job with casting the show. And Tiffany and I were friends beforehand. Like we didn't even audition in the same room or anything. And they just were like, oh my gosh, once they put our auditions together, I think you guys had told me, like, you guys have really great chemistry, and we've known each other for long, but we had never worked together. But I think they just did a really great job with casting. Yeah.
I originally thought you were a Tuca, and so I had you in the Tuca category, and then I was like, oh, like after we cast Tiffany, I'm like, damn it, I want to work with Allie, but like, she's a Tuca. And then when we were like, well, let's try her as a Bertie, I'm like, oh, okay, and you were perfect. So.
It's great that it worked out that way for all of us. So we got to sign off. But before we do that, we have one more video clip of a couple of people saying goodbye. If we can roll that, please.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed everything that you saw. We are super excited to be part of the Adult Swim family.
And I can't wait for you all to see season 2 of Tuca and Bertie only on Adult Swim 2021. Let's go. Woo.
So with that, I want to thank both of you, Lisa and Allie, for being here with us, and for everybody who was watching. And as Tiffany just said, Tuca and Bertie is coming in 2021 in production right now. And if you continue watching the stream, we've got the Rick and Morty Global Celebration coming up. So don't go anywhere.
Yay. Thanks, everybody.
Yay.